Hi, my name is Jenny Rocky Rockwell, and I'm a librarian at Oakland Public Library's Asian branch. Today, for Oakland Public Library's YouTube gardening playlist, we'll be taking a tour of Acta non-Verba's Youth Urban Farm Project in East Oakland with farm assistant and educator Marisa Johnson. And I'll be interviewing farm manager and educator Erin de la Cerda. Let's get started.
This is Marisa.
So right now we have a lot of our summer crops growing. We're in the middle of a summer camp right now too, which is all online.
Yeah.
But we definitely, a big thing that we try to do here is to engage youth in Oakland, to engage especially Black and Brown youth here in East Oakland with farming, with food systems and education around that, so that they can feel empowered to, be, self-sustaining and to kind of connect with nature and the farm. So we have all of our crops in planter beds. Zucchini, we have watermelon growing in the back, potatoes and fava beans, and the tomato plants. You can see some of them are already fruiting, so they look good.
Fried green tomatoes.
Love.
Looks like corn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Corn, green beans, and squash. And then
Got some sunflowers.
Yeah, we have our sunflowers. We harvest the seeds too, and sometimes give them to kids.
Do you do seed saving then?
These are pretty young. These are mostly chili peppers, and then we have some bell peppers further down. This is our lemon tree, cherry tree. Yeah, the greenhouse. We also have 2 beehives.
Wow, really?
Bees, and we also have a worm bin.
Nice.
Worm castings, and we also make our compost on site as well.
That's so cool.
The kids really love the worms.
Yeah.
Some of the kids.
Welcome, Erin. Nice to meet you.
As Jenny mentioned, my name is Erin de la Cerda. I am the farm manager / educator for Acta non-Verba Youth Urban Farm Project. And I've been working with them for about 4 years now. And it's been wonderful.
Great.
Yeah, so what I was saying is Kelly Carlisle, our founder and director, she's still our acting director. She's dope. She made it her mission to bring, farming to this urban environment out here in the deep East Oakland. She was able to secure a little 1/4 acre here in Tassaparanga Park. I'm sitting directly across from it. We're fortunate to have our office right across the street. But so she, with the help of a bunch of volunteers that she rallied together, and who believe in the mission, they were able to build, a bunch of raised beds and some seating, and just made it a really welcoming space. They got like a pizza oven out here. We have a storage shed. So really just built out a small 1/4 acre farm out here in Tassaparanga Park, and started welcoming the community to come help grow that. And so that's kind of what we've been doing. It has been evolving ever since. And as I said, it'll be 10 years later this year in a few months. And we've actually grown to 3 farms now.
Wonderful. Your website has so much information. I encourage everyone to go take a look at all the things that Acta non-Verba Farm is doing. But let's talk a little bit. Right now, you guys have a community-supported agriculture CSA operation, right? How's that working?
Yeah, so it's going wonderfully. We're up and really running it. So this year, mid-April? By mid-April, we had really revamped the program. So we've been doing a CSA for quite a few years now. In the past, it's been around an average of like 8 to 10 families that we were providing produce to outside of our own neighborhood. Because families around here are welcome to just walk onto the farm and pick, harvest as they please, and it's by donation. But our CSA program largely went out to the larger Oakland area. But when the pandemic hit and with these stay-at-home orders, we saw how the food system just kind of started just falling apart. It so much collapsed with restaurants closing down, farmers not having those clients to get their produce out to. we saw a lot of, in the news about farmers tilling entire acres of crops into the ground because they had nowhere for them to go. And that's another, it's a kind of a slippery slope that with large scale agriculture, that's what happens.
Right.
But we saw that, our small farm, we saw an uptick in demand because there was, people need food. We're local. And we can give food directly to people. We had the means. And so we expanded that by teaming up with Slow Foods East Bay to connect with the Asian farmers in the Central Valley and a lot of other small family farmers out in the Central Coast. So we have
there's a GoFundMe campaign for that initiative, right?
Correct. And so we're calling it the Sister Farms Project. And so those are our sister farms that we're sourcing from. And that allows us to use our own produce that we're growing and also bring produce from them. So they have they're able to get to the market out here in the Bay Area through us. And so kind of keeping everybody, in the game, everyone has some.
So you guys are doing your own food distribution, alternative food distribution systems. That's amazing.
Exactly. We saw how it was breaking. And so we kind of, we figured we have an extra set of wheels. Let's keep it up and running.
Yeah.
And so with that, we were able to expand. We went from, average about 8 families this time last year to now we're serving on average every week 30 families, 30 households that we're delivering to. And that's outside of our community. And then the way we have it set up is so the ones that they buy full price that go outside of our community pay for us to be able to give for free right here in Tassaparonga Village, where we're based out of, out here in the Deep East. So that way we're able to, subsidize the food where it's needed most and where we have the least access to these things.
So for people who don't know what a CSA is, can you explain that a little bit? Community supported agriculture?
Yeah, so like the name indicates, it's agriculture completely supported by the community. So, we have, we're a not-for-profit, and so we are funded by grants and donations. But in order to make sure we can keep delivering food to people, we ask that they pay up front instead of going to the grocery store where you choose what you want and you get it when you pay. What we do is you pay ahead of time. So you're kind of like investing in the farm in a way. You pay ahead of time, and then in return, we deliver a share of the crop at a later date. And for us, we're able to do it. You can pay by the week because of the new relationships we have. But traditional CSAs usually you pay like maybe a one-time bulk payment ahead of the season. It allows the farmer to run the operation, and in return, throughout the season, you get a piece of the harvest. So it's a really dope community-supported model. It really gets people connected, a lot closer to where their food's coming from, how it's being produced, and who's producing it. Yeah, and we feel that's really important. That's one of the key things that's missing in large-scale farming.
And that brings us to the educational component that a lot of what you do is work with youth to help them learn about food and where it comes from and make those connections and food justice and sovereignty and all of that. Can you speak about any of your programs for youth?
Yeah, so everything we do is based around the youth. So kind of circling back to the CSA, 100% of the proceeds from the sales of the CSA goes to the youth educational savings accounts that we open up for participating youth. So a participating youth is one who's been in our summer camp, or we have an hour requirement. I think it's about it's somewhere around 18 hours. So if you're in our summer camp, you easily meet that. Or if you're volunteering, I think it's at least 4 hours a month, which is pretty regular for a kid to come on their own. There's different ways that a child can get involved and open up one of those accounts. But so that's one of the things. But we have seasonal camps. So I'm gonna pause 1 second as there's a lot of noise.
Okay.
So we offer seasonal camps year round for our youth, and it's not just East Oakland youth. It's really just anybody in the East Bay. We've had right now, since we've moved on to a completely online platform. We have kids who are out of state or different parts of the state joining us. Yeah. So anytime there's an OUSD school break, we hold a camp. So our summer camp's like our flagship programming. Mm-hmm. It's 2 4-week sessions, and kids do everything from they do photography, they do cooking class. It's like farm to table cooking. It's no sugar added type recipes. Yeah. They do dance, they do art, they're doing podcasting. So there's so many different things that they're able to do. And for the farm component, we open up the farm exclusively for our campers in smaller groups, so that way we're able to still be gather in the outdoor space safely.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot that goes into the camp, and it's very dynamic. But that happens over the summer. In the spring break, there's a week-long camp. For Thanksgiving break, we call it our mini camp. It's just a few days before Thanksgiving, and then over winter break we have another 2-week camp.
Wonderful. Yeah.
And then we also have Wild Farm out in West Oakland, and we took that under our wing about 2 years ago. It's been a farm for 20 plus years, but it transitioned under our care about 2 years ago, and we're keeping that one growing. That's primarily a production farm, so it has more than 12 fruit trees. It's only 1/8 of an acre, but it produces quite a bit of fruit, and it's a microgreens farm.
Are there any other things happening at Acta on Verba you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, so something I'm really excited to announce is that Acta on Verba will be taking under its wing the Beatbox CSA from Fat Beats, the Fat Beats CSA program. So they're transitioning under Acta on Verba to make sure it has a place to continue to grow and thrive.
So Fat Beats is another gardening-related nonprofit, right?
So they've gone in a few different directions in the past. Their main thing had been the CSA, called the Beatbox. I love the name, by the way. So
Me
happy
too.
that
I love that. It's so good. They've done amazing work for some years now. Sourcing produce from small family farmers. They're able to accept EBT, and so that was a big deal for us because we want to make sure this is accessible to those who need it. There's a market match program, and so it's just a really dope program, and we're really excited to bring it on to help it continue to thrive. Yeah. Good things happening. Networks in Oakland. Our city's so amazing. So, and then I know that there's other people who could speak to this more, but do you want to say a bit about the East Oakland Grocery Cooperative?
Yeah, it's another really fun and dynamic project. I'm really excited about that one. And what it is it's a group of East Oakland residents coming together to create a cooperatively owned grocery store. I believe it's founded and run by Black and brown people. So it's really dope that everybody's from the neighborhood and it's representative of the neighborhood. And that'll be the big mission there was to address the fact that we live in an area with food apartheid. So there's no really accessible, affordable, healthy foods in the neighborhood.
Is the farm open for visitors?
Yeah, so you're still able to visit our farm every Monday and Wednesday from 2 to 5 o'clock. For the next 2 weeks, Fridays 2 to 5 is reserved for our campers, but beyond August, beyond next week, we'll be opening up on Fridays as well. And also every first Saturday from noon until 4 p.m. we have our community farm days, and so that's opening to the broader public. And so you can come, you can help out. We usually have some projects that we've been saving that we can really use a lot of hands on. Sometimes there's not much work to be done. It's just hanging out, getting to enjoy the space. There's usually music and snacks, and all are welcome.
Should people make arrangements for that? Just because with the pandemic, I know you guys are limiting how many people that can.
Yeah, thank you for mentioning it. On our website, you can schedule a visit. You can RSVP for the first Saturday. That tells me how many people to prepare for, and how to best manage the space, because we are we're mask required. We're following all the rules, so it's a bit more to it than just showing up. But you can RSVP on our site.
Great. Maybe you'll see me on Saturday. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful talking to you about all this, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
Okay. Thanks a lot.